Hello, this is Mona Jerome. I'm founder director of Ever After Mustang Rescue, and this is Horse Tales. We like to bring you stories about horses, especially Mustangs or any rescued horses. So I'm very pleased today that we have a special story to tell. And I'd like you to welcome with me Ellie Mason. Ellie is 10 years old, and she is a Mustang owner. And with her is her mom, Trish Mason, and Trish made it possible for Ellie to be a Mustang owner and rider. So Ellie, tell us a little bit about your horse.
His name is Vegas.
That's right.
He is really sweet and he likes to hang out a lot.
And when did you start riding Vegas?
Around 4 or 5, when I was 4 or 5.
4 or 5 years old, and you began taking lessons. Yeah. And where was Vegas when you first met him and started riding him?
At where I ride right now.
At Dream Acres? Yeah, in Arundel, Maine. And you live in Arundel, Maine, so you didn't have to go far for your lessons. But he was a schooling horse there, right?
Yes.
So after riding him, what made you decide that you wanted to have him for your own?
Because he's really easy and really nice.
Okay. So later in this program, people are going to be able to actually see you riding him, and they will see Vegas. But do you want to tell us, what color is Vegas?
He's a bay.
A bay, and for anyone who doesn't know, can you tell us what a bay is?
He's a brown horse with a black mane and tail.
And usually black on their legs. Yeah, so that's called a bay. And how old is Vegas?
Do you remember? He's 18.
18.
18 years old. So you started riding when you were 4 or 5, and you're 10 now. So that's like 6 years. So you started riding him when he was 12 years old. So that's a pretty young horse. And he took pretty good care of you?
Yeah.
And what are you doing with Vegas now?
I just started jumping him, and he just started living at our house.
So now that he's yours, you've moved him to your own house. So that's a very happy story for Vegas, because I'm going to tell you a little bit about Vegas when I first met him. I brought some papers here. I got a telephone call from a gentleman that owned Vegas, who was then known as Remington. When we got him, his name was Remington. And this man had purchased Remington from somebody else. And that someone had purchased him from the original adopter. So this horse had had 3 owners. He was a 4-year-old when he was adopted. He was 7 years old when I purchased him. So that meant that he had 3 owners in 3 years. And in those 3 years, nobody had been able to put a halter on him. They didn't know how to work with him. They didn't know how to handle him. So when we got him, he was not halted, and we had to load him on the trailer, drive him on the trailer to bring him to Ever After Mustang Rescue. And when we brought him, the man that called us, he said, I'm the 3rd owner that has him. I'm not able to do anything with him. I don't have the time. I don't know how. And he's a nice guy, and I don't want anything bad to happen to him. But I would like to get my money back. So Ever After Mustang Rescue paid $300, and that's the bill of sale. And that was in 2002. But when Vegas came to us, we didn't know who he was. We didn't know anything about him. So as soon as we were able to, we had to shave the side of his neck where his brand is. And then we could read his brand, and we contacted the Bureau of Land Management, and because of those numbers on his neck, we were able to identify him. And they sent us a copy of his title. Do you have any of these papers? You do. Okay. So there's his numbers down there, because if you didn't, I was going to make sure that you did get a copy today. So we found out that he was born in 95. He was captured in 99, and we got him in 2002. We kept him there, and we kept him there until 2007. We had him there for 5 years, I guess. And in that 5 years, we got him under saddle. He was still somewhat of a green horse, but he was then placed with Angie Frechette at Dream Acres. And from there on in, she added training to him, and he became one of the schooling horses. We don't always let horses go to riding stables, but Angie has a reputation for treating her horses very, very well. I think you would agree with that. And she treats her students pretty well, too. So that's where he went. And when he went there, we had the halter on. He was already started under saddle. He didn't like to be fly sprayed. How is he with the fly spray now?
He's still a little jumpy.
Still doesn't like that, huh? So I guess that's not going to change much. So does this sound like the horse that you know? Okay, and
He's
what-
pretty calm now,
Yeah.
isn't he? Yeah.
He's come a long way. And the wonderful thing is that he spent those years with Angie as a schooling horse, and when you came along, she knew that was the right combination, you and Vegas, because that's a very special thing to a Mustang, that he has a person of his own. He has a very strong need to belong. That's just in their genes, because that's how they survive in the wild, is that they have to depend on each other. So he's going to learn and grow with you now. But what are your plans for Vegas? What do you want to do? What kind of riding?
We haven't started showing him yet, and I want to show him because we work really well together, and he listens really well.
Right, and next October we have a horse show. It's an annual, so you bring Vegas there because it's a great place to start. You may have already done some shows before that, but we try to make everybody welcome at all different levels at that show, so it's a good place to come. So, and you want to show him jumping? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, and canter.
She hasn't cantered in a show yet, so
Well, I
think
think we
Vegas.
have. I think I have a little bit, but not on Vegas.
Have you, do you canter Vegas in lessons?
Yeah.
So you're not afraid to canter? No. It's
It's
just
just-
you haven't done it with him yet.
in a show ring it's different just because there's so many people, and so she hasn't done it at a show, but probably with Vegas she will because they're such a good team.
Yeah, you'll be ready by spring when the time comes. So now you trailer Vegas. Vegas lives at your house, and you trailer him to lessons every week?
Yep.
Do you know how many little girls, 10 years old, well, I shouldn't say little girls, but how many young ladies at 10 years old would love to have a horse and haven't had that opportunity?
A lot.
A lot, yeah, right. So you have very special mom and dad that made this available to you. But I want to ask you, Trish, whatever made you think that a Mustang was the right horse for your young daughter?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, we knew once she became independent in her riding lessons, able to tack up her lesson ponies and do everything all herself, we had decided it was about time that, because we already have 3 horses at home, we decided it was time that she could have her own pony. So we had been keeping our ears open, and then when Angie let us know that she was thinking about that it was time for Vegas to have his own person, we decided we just couldn't let him, we didn't want him to go anyplace else. We couldn't let him get away because he's so special and so sweet and calm, and we trust him with our little girl. And so Angie said, okay, do you want to lease him? And we said, no, if he comes home, we want him to be ours. So she agreed that we could do that and then adopt him through Mustang Rescue. So he's fit in perfectly with our other 3 horses, and we have 2 mini horses that we've rescued through Mini Rescue in New Hampshire. But we weren't limiting ourselves to adopting through a rescue. We just wanted the perfect pony for her, and it just happened to be one through a rescue. We would have, maybe bought her a pony if a better pony had been available, but Vegas was perfect, so we didn't need to buy. We could rescue.
Well, we're very pleased that you did. I'm sure Vegas is very pleased that you did. And you went to saying, how you adopted him through the rescue. Angie was the one that conveyed the ownership to you, but in our contracts, when we send a horse out, it cannot be sold or transferred without us being notified, or it has to come back to us. And that little clause is to make sure that that horse never ends up with a dealer on its way to Canada and slaughter.
Right.
So Angie followed that. You followed those guidelines. So that made it perfect with us. I'm very happy because this is a real success story. It's a horse that maybe would not have made it except for a kind man that called us. And then the horse did everything he could to fit into what was expected of him in a domestic life, worked as a schooling horse, and now has his own person and his own home, which is the ultimate. That is really the ultimate thing. So this is just like a fairy tale for Vegas.
And it's perfect for us too. I mean, he's definitely a member of the family, and when it's not freezing cold out, Ellie will put on her helmet, and as soon as she gets home from school, we'll just put on her helmet and just go climb on him while he's in his pasture and just lay on him while he's eating. And she just, every morning before school, she goes out and gives him a hug on her way to school. And so it's perfect. It's an equally happy situation for him and her.
Well, I thank you both for providing this great home for him. And I'm going to be following you, Ellie. I'm going to follow the things that you're doing. I hope that you'll join us for a lot of the events that we do at the barn, because you are an example for others that might wonder, could it be successful? There's still a lot of myth and misunderstanding about a wild horse. But with horses, it's wild only because they ran free. They're not a predator like a lion or a tiger. And once trained properly, then they're just a great horse to have. And you've already known that.
And they seem he seems especially smart. If he knows that he's safe, he is very, very willing. He's a very smart horse. And he knows to trust Ellie, so they get along super.
I want to thank you very much for being here with us today and sharing this story. It makes me very happy, and it's made my day a very good one. And I want to tell all our viewers, if you hang in for a little while, you're going to be able to watch a video of Ellie actually riding Vegas. So we're going to say farewell to you right now, but stay here and watch the video. And I want to thank you for joining us this morning. Keep with us. We wish you a very Merry Christmas. We can see from the decorations that we're right in that season. A very Merry Christmas and a good winter. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Mona.
Thank you very much.